Welcome one, welcome all. How's everybody doing today? So, candidates are already announcing their intention to seek the Democratic nomination for president in 2020. For an in-depth analysis of the candidates, I don't know, go watch Kyle Kalinske or some other YouTuber who knows what they're talking about. What I am going to give you is a bunch of insane, lunatic, degenerate ramblings on each candidate. And I think that in a country full of degenerate lunatics, that's the perspective the people want and need to hear. Am I right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. This giant crowd of people reacting to me in my small shooting area is just tremendous. Thank you. You're awesome. So we're going to take a look at everyone running in 2020. But first, I'd like to talk to you about my sponsor, Vikings War of Clans, the browser game that you've been waiting for. You know, people ask me, TJ, do you actually play Vikings? People know I'm not a huge gamer, but the answer is yes. This is a great, addictive browser game with fantastic graphics and great social feature integration. Best of all for me, you can really play it however you want. If you're a serious gamer looking for an addictive game to get lost in, it can be that. If you're a casual gamer just looking for something to kill a little time, it's great for that too. The way the game is designed, it conforms to you. And here's an interesting little fact. Vikings is played by more people than the total population of Vikings that ever lived. Why are gamers all over the world into this game? Probably because it plays like a game that you'd pay for, yet it's free to play. So join a clan and join Vikings for free using the link in my description box today, and you'll get a cool bonus of 200 gold coins and Novus's relocation item for a quick start. Trust me, it's really worth your time, highly recommended, and as always, remember that supporting my sponsors helps to support this channel. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to assume that Trump makes it to 2020, which is by no means a guarantee at this point. But until he's gone, we have to assume that he's staying put. So with that in mind, let's look at the Democratic candidates for 2020. Now, he hasn't announced yet, but we all know that Bernie Sanders is running. Is he too old? Yeah, probably. Does that matter enough to keep me from voting for him in the primaries? Probably not. The thing I like about Bernie is that he speaks almost entirely in statistics and proposals. There's not a lot of soaring rhetoric from Bernie Sanders. Bernie's speech pattern is like this. Sad statistic, policy that should be enacted, attack against the opposition. So it's sad stat, policy, attack. Sad stat, policy, attack. Kind of like this. 1 in 3 Americans are so poor, they're eating cereal with forks just to save with the milk. I had proposed the free milk initiative in 2016, but unfortunately the Republicans, and even some Democrats, are in the pocket of the powerful dairy industry, who don't even pay their workers, despite generating $39 billion in revenue in 2018. And so on and so forth. I love his style. It's so much more substantive than the soaring bullshit rhetoric no one believes anymore. You know, united we stand in a new era of hope where the change you've been waiting for is you. So just roll up your sleeves because it's a new dawn in the shining red, white, and blue city on the hill, and this is the greatest nation in the history of the world, and ordinary Americans can accomplish anything, and innovation, and strength, and unity, and buzzwords, and ballot stuffing, and backstabbing, and bought and paid for by big business bullshit. I can't stand that. Say what you want about Trump, but at least he's not that. You know, Trump's speech pattern is way more simplistic and declarative. You know, we need a wall. The Democrats won't let it happen. Won't let it happen. It's sad. It's a shame. They don't care about the border. They don't care about security. They don't. Sad. No care. Trump care. Trump make fire. Trump strong. Trump village chief. He's a fucking caveman. A monosyllabic fucking caveman. Sorry. The only way I won't be voting for Bernie is if I decide I like Richard Ojeda better. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of getting there. First of all, he seems fucking nuts. Which maybe that shouldn't be a plus, but it feels like one to me. I mean, we're a crazy fucking country. We need a crazy fucking president. And we've had so many crazy conservative presidents, I really want to see what happens if we have a crazy liberal president. Plus, he's got the novelty of being a rare example of something that I hope will become more common in the future. A liberal redneck. It's just so amazing. He's so amazing that I actually watched him get interviewed by Cenk Uygur. And half the time, Cenk would just awkwardly turn to the audience and start explaining things to us like we're all idiots who wouldn't understand what was being said if he didn't dumb it down for us. We're not baby birds, Cenk. You don't need to regurgitate into our mouths. Ojeda does have some problems, though. He's never held an office higher than state senator, which is a pretty lowly political position for someone with presidential aspirations. He claims to have never voted for a Democrat for president, so he's got a very conservative past. He even voted for Trump, which is something that'll definitely be used against him in the primaries. And currently, I don't know if his national profile is sufficient to get him on the big stage. But if he can find his way up there, I think a lot of people will take interest not only in what he says, but how he says it. So let's see. Who else is running? Elizabeth Warren. She's got a real authenticity problem for me. First, once upon a time, she shit-talked Hillary and explained, probably better than anyone I've ever seen, why Hillary is a sellout to moneyed interests. Yet she didn't back Bernie against Hillary, and that makes her untenable to me. Because what that means is that she put her own personal ambitions over policy. And that's exactly the kind of politician we've already got plenty of. And then there was that whole debacle where she said she was Native American for years, but then it turned out she was less authentic Native than even Johnny Depp. And then she did that weird stream where she was drinking beer in her house, and it was just so obvious that she was trying to hijack a little of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's popular social media appeal. So when I look at Elizabeth Warren, I ask, why is she always either going against what she says she is or trying to be something that she's not? What's wrong with just being Elizabeth Warren, the dorky liberal senator who seems like your best friend's goofy mom? Senator Warren, the way you are works. It's fine. You don't need to be a fucking Indian princess or a social media star. You can just be a dork. There's nothing wrong with it. So Beto ORourke. He hasn't announced that he's running, but it's widely expected that he will. You know what I like about the guy? He's a hard worker. He went to every single district in Texas when he was trying to unseat Ted Cruz. And Texas is huge. It takes 12 hours to drive through it along Interstate 10, pretty much from Beaumont to El Paso or El Paso to Beaumont. And I've made that drive many times. Texas is enormous beyond belief. You could fit the entire UK into Texas 2.8 times. That's how fucking ridiculously large Texas is. But as big as Texas is, Beto ORourke's dick is even bigger. He ran a tight race in a red state and he pushed the elections all over Texas to the left. He's turned Texas into a place where a Democrat has a fighting chance. And that's something that should really scare the shit out of Republicans. That said, Beto isn't really what I'm looking for in a candidate. He's taken a lot of money from oil companies and his policy positions seem to err towards the center. He seems like a really responsible guy that I'd like fine as my accountant or physical therapist or something. But he doesn't strike me as a leader with a bold vision. He strikes me as a talented establishment politician who plays politics with an outdated rule book. Sorry, Beto, but Trump and Bernie rewrote the rules. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is rewriting the rules. Now, could Beto adapt to a new rule book? I'd never count him out. He has tenacity and industriousness on his side, but unfortunately for him, fucking the hardest ain't the same as fucking the best. And that's where he's at right now. So Tulsi Gabbard is running. She's just weird, man. She used to be a really strong social conservative type with some really weird ties to people in her past that were into that like gay conversion therapy and shit. She's also been accused of being an American mouthpiece for Bashar al-Assad, as well as pretty cozy with him in general. So she's kind of a wild card. Every once in a while, she'll just straight up vote with conservatives. Then again, she was also one of the few mainstream politicians who supported Bernie over Clinton. But if she's the kind of politician I think she is, I wouldn't be shocked to learn that her support of Bernie Sanders was because she knew that his wing was ultimately going to take over the party, and she wanted her progressive credentials in order when it came time for her to run. I'll be straight up honest with you. I don't really trust her. Joe Biden. Now let's be honest here. Joe Biden is about as exciting as lukewarm oatmeal on a cloudy day. A dreary, miserable, cloudy day. The most interesting thing about him, or the most interesting things about him, are there's lots of photos of him being kind of a creeper. Not really sure if that's a great idea in the Me Too era. He makes a lot of dumb gaffes. He once tried to talk Trump into doing something with him behind a woodshed, which sounds like super gay, like aggressive 70s gay. I guess he's doing well in some early polling, but I'm going to predict that his candidacy will fail to ignite enthusiasm, and after an initial burst of support, people are going to jump ship for more dynamic candidates, you know, like a stalk of celery or a nondescript gray rock on the side of the road. Kamala Harris, we could do worse. She's pretty progressive, but I have the same problems with her I do with O'Rourke. She's an older model of politician. She's not a firebrand. She doesn't really have the progressive credentials that Sanders or Warren have. She doesn't have the fire that Ojeda has. I don't see her going far, unless she comes up with some way to truly set herself apart from the pack. If she was stupid enough to hire me as an advisor, I'd probably tell her that she needs to get a signature issue. She needs to get some sort of crazy, off-the-wall promise that gets her noticed. That seems like it's what gets people noticed now. Like Trump had his wall, Cortez has her 70% tax rate, marginal tax rate of anyone over 10 million. Bernie Sanders has Medicare for all and free college and stuff like that. So she needs some signature, sort of really strong populist issue-based legislation to really bring her to the forefront in a big way. Because right now all she's got going for her is, I'm a progressive and I'm a black woman. And I just don't think that's not gonna get you to the head of the pack in 2020, in my opinion. Now, there are a few other candidates and potential candidates like Cory Booker, Sherrod Brown, Kirsten Gillibrand, Amy Klobuchar, I never heard of her, Julian Castro. But I'm pretty confident that not one of them has a chance in hell. Maybe I could be wrong. I mean, I've been wrong before. I mean, at least 3 times. But right now, I'm tentatively writing them all off. Cory Booker is probably the strongest of them, but he kind of sucks. Now let's talk about a total nightmare scenario that none of us even really want to think about. What if Hillary Clinton actually decides to run again? Now this would be a fucking disaster for Hillary. If she runs the same way she ran last time, people are going to see that she hasn't changed a bit, and they're just going to think of her as a 2-time loser that's about to rack up loss number 3. If she runs to the left of where she was last time, it's going to come across as totally bogus, which is only right because it would be. Hillary, no one is going to believe that you went to the temple of contemplation and meditated for a few years and you emerged, Bernie Sanders with a pussy. No one buys that. If Hillary Clinton is going to have any chance, no matter how slight and minuscule, she's going to have to rely entirely on the fuck Trump strategy, which means that she's going to have to play on the buyer's remorse of 2016 and be like, here I am, bet you wish you'd voted for me last time, huh? And she's also going to have to sell us on the idea that Trump would hate to lose to her worse than he'd hate to lose to anyone else. If she does that, she might have a glimmer of a shadow, of a speck, of a molecule of a chance. But even then, it's so fucking slim that you can't even see it with the naked eye. I think Hillary would embarrass herself if she tried to run again. I think she'd be creamed in the primaries. I think she'd drop out immediately after the Iowa caucuses, after a dismal showing, and that's if she even got that far. Now, hopefully she's smart enough to just be satisfied with the legacy she has and not do that. But if we know one thing about Hillary, it's that she wants to be president more than a junkie wants to shoot up in his Chevy. So who knows what other politicians are going to throw their hats in the arena. It's still very early. Many of these candidates I've been talking about in this video haven't even officially announced yet. But this is going to be a crowded field for sure. We're going to have way too many people running in 2020. And we got some progressive types, we got some establishment types, we got some people who are kind of in the middle. And what choice the Democratic voters make, it's unclear at this point. It's not really clear who the front runner is going to be. But hopefully it's going to be someone exciting and dynamic who makes liberals cream their pants and conservatives shit theirs. That's all for now. I'm the Amazing Atheist. Peace the fuck out. I'm hungry. I don't know what to tell you. I'm pretty sure you guys heard my belly growl just now. I'm really fucking hungry. I haven't eaten all day. I got problems. Can't afford food. That's why I need your support on Patreon. It's down below as well. Thanks.